Well, welcome to CES, the show that celebrates the very best in innovation. Now, on one level, this show is certainly inspirational. On another, it's also really overwhelming. There's something like 4,500 different exhibitors here. And so what I'm going to try and do over the next few minutes is introduce you to some of the ideas which I think are really fantastic, could really make a difference in terms of changing the world for the better, and explains why I'm leaving the CES a lot more optimistic than I was when I arrived. Before we go, a massive thanks to StoryTech, who helped us curate the work you're about to see. Well, here we are on the Belkin stand at CES. So what you may wonder is why we're talking about plumbing. In fact, what is plumbing even doing on the Belkin stand? Well, in fact, this is one of my favourite things because what it's doing is applying amazing technology to such a traditional system and solving a really important problem in the process. In the US alone, 1 trillion gallons of water is wasted every single year. The world is suffering from water scarcity, but the amount of water wasted is actually enough to resolve that issue. And it was that insight that allowed Belkin to sort of start looking at this issue. They formed a joint venture to create this business, Phyn. And what they've done is created one of the most advanced water control systems. It basically fits onto your average pipe. It looks at 150 different data points to tell you what appliance is actually been turned on. Is it the shower, is it the tap, is it the toilet, for example? But not only that, because it measures water pressure, it's also very good at detecting if you have a leak or very small quantities of water escaping through the system. Something like 20% of people come back to them to say they've identified a small leak with their toilet flapper. Not very glamorous, I have to admit, but at the end of the day, for every leaking toilet flapper, something like 1,000 gallons of water is wasted every single month. So this technology, this really smart technology, is something that's going to truly save the world. I'm winning. This is Bitboxer, and it's a really unusual application of AI. Because what this system does is the more you spar, the harder it actually gets. Because it actually learns your reactions, it learns your body movement, it sort of works out what you're going to do before you actually do it. But it's also a very useful way of keeping healthy, because it also tracks all that data, gives you updates on how you're doing in terms of reaction time, and actually how you're improving. It's also got some great features in there as well, so like for example, you can program fatigue into it so it can tire out a bit and give you a more realistic experience. But really, it's a really good way of getting rid of some of that aggression. What is an ATM doing here at CES? Everybody knows this is an old technology, but what is revolutionary about this system is it gives people who are normally unbanked access to banking infrastructure. So for example, if you're a contractor who paid in cash, what this machine lets you do is feed your wages into the system, and in return it will give you a crypto stable coin, or basically a digital signature which is very, very stable. And that will in turn allow you to do things like use your phone to buy stuff, maybe your bus fare, maybe your groceries. It will also allow you to go to other ATMs and withdraw cash. And because a lack of access to banking infrastructure is a big cause of poverty, this has actually got the potential to drive really fundamental social change. Take a good close look at this, because this is actually one of the most exciting things I've seen at CES. Believe it or not, this little thing is actually a squirt of hand wash, because the team at P&G Labs have found this process to take the liquid out of a lot of soap. So this includes things like shampoos, body washes, hand lotions, and it only really returns to its normal state when you add water, where it then completely breaks down. Now this is revolutionary on all sorts of different levels. On one level, it creates a much more sustainable products, for example, that don't necessarily require plastic to transport them. This thing is wrapped in bamboo. The other thing, obviously, it saves a lot of energy in terms of transport costs. That really annoying little experience people have when they're going through airports, no more, because the soaps are now dry. So it is a very revolutionary product, which in my view really could help save the planet. Well, I hope you enjoyed that whirlwind tour of CES, and what better way to end that journey than in here, which is a driverless pod. It's actually a joint venture between Irigo, IBM and VIA, and it's really revolutionising the world of transport. But as well as seeing this pod here in Las Vegas, it's also in the wild in Milton Keynes, so it's already out there revolutionising the future of transport. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little film. That's all from me. So all that's left for me to do now is say, Watson, take me to London.
Okay, let's go home.